Hi, welcome back to the Cuzzy Sound channel. In this video we will be dealing with a couple of sticky wheels. And the sticky wheels belong to my Acorn Masterkey 49 MIDI controller keyboard. And those wheels are the modulation wheel and the pitch bend wheel. Now, this Masterkey controller, I've had it quite a few years now, and it was second hand when I bought it, so I don't actually know how old it is. I originally got it to plug into the doors on the computer and use it for playing software synths and things before I started with all this hardware stuff. But I dug it back out recently with an intention of using it potentially with some of the hardware stuff. But when I went to move these keys, the stickiness wasn't the fact that they wouldn't move, they move quite freely. But as soon as I touched them, the surface was really gooey and tacky and my fingers were actually sticking to the keys. So that's what I mean by sticky keys. Now, like a lot of gear, these wheels have been coated with a grippy rubber surface on top of the hard plastic. And like a lot of gear, that rubber surface tends to degrade over time and become really gooey and horrible, and your fingers stick to it and it comes off and everything. Now, if you go on the internet and do a search, there's lots of people showing you lots of ways to deal with this using a wide variety of chemical compounds and various techniques. What I found that works for me, and I've used this one before on other things, is methylated spirits. Now, methylated spirits, it's the kind of stuff that you can buy from your local DIY store, relatively cheap. But beware, it's highly flammable and it's toxic. But handled with care, it's pretty safe stuff, really. So, I put some meths on a rag and had a go at trying to clean up the keys while they were inside the case. And I wasn't getting very far very fast at all. So I decided to bite the bullet and see if I could take the thing apart and get those wheels out of the case to clean up. So there's a whole load of screws on the back of this thing. There's about 18 little screws. So yeah, working away. But once I got all those out, the silver bit, this cover bit, just lifted off really easily. And everything else stayed intact inside, and it looked like this. So you can see there the underside of the two wheels mounted in the silver plastic housing, just plugged into the circuit board. So it was easy to unplug those from the circuit board and be able to get at them easily. And then just a couple of screws allowed me to take the wheels out one at a time and clean them up. The one thing to be careful on the pitch bend is that there is a spring attached to the wheel. But if you're not going to actually take the wheel off the potentiometer, then you don't have to worry about that. And I didn't need to do that. But the spring is so that if you move it up and let go, it will automatically spring back to the midpoint of the pot. And vice versa if you pull it down for pitch bend down. Whereas on the mod wheel, there isn't a spring because that'll just stay wherever you put it. So I took them out and got a bit of cloth, soaked it in meths and started rubbing away. And it took a while, took a few goes, clean a bit, wipe it off, let it dry a bit, check the surface, go back, do a bit more. But eventually I've got it down pretty much so there's virtually none of that original rubber surface left. And it's straight down to smooth, hard plastic. And it doesn't really make much difference in their operation, whether you got the rubbery stuff on or not. I didn't find my fingers slipping off at all. So yeah, that was a success. So then I put it all back together and to make sure that everything was still in place and still firm and tight and all working. But before I show you how I tested it, it does mean now that I've kind of brought this back to life again. Not that it was dead, it was horrible to use, but now it's quite nice to use again. So maybe at some point I'll make another video on how to use this without a door, plugging it into the various bits of hardware that are behind me here, and use it as a MIDI controller for a synth or two or whatever, and just basically how to wire it into the system. So do come back for that. But for now, plugged it back into the computer, gave it a test run, and yeah, success.